Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk Tuesday about Business. It's Nancy Sato from the Business Mission. I'm very delighted to be here with you today. And we're going to talk about legal contracts. I see this a lot on Facebook. A lot of people wanting to do business with logo designers and website people, and they just put a post out and they're really eager to find somebody, but they don't take a minute to put the legal aspects in place. So we are going to talk about legal contracts today. It's Nancy Sutter from the Business Mission. I run a firm called the Business Mission, which helps people structure businesses, set up businesses, legally wise as well. I'm not an accountant, but I can definitely give you the direction about setting up a business. Remember, when you have a business idea, it's only a business idea. It's not a business. So please don't go register your company. It's not made money yet, so it's only an idea. So I'm here, Talk Tuesday about business every Tuesday, 12 noon UK time, where we discuss business tips and advice. As I mentioned, you can go to our website, www.thebusinessmission.com, where you can see all our services. We offer everything from trademark. I specialized in my law degree on IP, so trademark, patents, copyrights, industrial design. There's business plans, marketing strategies, marketing plans, legal contracts, that whole shebang. So you can go there at www.thebusinessmission.com. So welcome to Talk Tuesday about business. I'm very delighted to be here with you today. And as I mentioned, the topic at hand are legal contracts. Again, as I mentioned just a minute ago, I see people all over Facebook, on LinkedIn, those places saying, I need a website person, I need somebody to do a logo for me, but they have not got a contract in place. There was one lady who had posted something that the woman had taken her money and dashed. Well, I'm going to be brutally honest, but it's your fault because you didn't put a contract in place. Okay, so the questions that we're going to deal with today are, what are legal contracts in business? Okay, if you're not sure what they are, I'm going to discuss that with you. Why are legal contracts important to safeguard the business before you start a business? Okay, that's really important. Why is it important to safeguard your business before you go out to find a supplier or find employees or freelance? Why must you have those contracts in place before? What is a business partnership agreement, and why is it important to have in place before you work with somebody? That's super important, and I'm going to explain that. And what are some legal contracts you should have in place to safeguard your business? So those are the 4 things that we are going to address. So it's just after 12. I am going to crack on with explaining what are legal contracts in business. Okay, first of all, a contract begins with an offer. In legal terms, an offer is the manifestation of a person's willingness to enter into an agreement to which he or she will be bound if his offer is accepted by another party. Okay, so for example, let's say you want to work with a website person or somebody to design a logo. You would offer him in the contract, and if he is interested, he will sign. Okay, and so that is bound by the contract. Acceptance. Here we go. Once a party offers an offer, the other party can accept or reject or counteroffer. If the person accepts the offer, the contract is formed. Acceptance by signing on the dotted line means that the party has unconditional agreement to the terms that you have offered. Okay, either or. If you have a contract, you get them to sign, or they have a contract, they get you to sign. You know what? You can double sign. It's better safe than sorry. Okay, mutual assent. Okay, mutual assent is a key element to a contract. It may also refer to the consent or the mutual obligation. It is voluntary to enter into a contract. You're not forcing the logo designer or the website designer, you must work with me. No, they are voluntarily going into the contract. Consideration. Okay, in contract law, Consideration is often expressed as the exchange of a promise. Consideration consists a benefit to the promisor and to the promisee. Okay, the contract really needs to have all the material terms so that if somebody breaches it, the other party can seek distress from the other party and on that basis go to court. Okay, the parties to the contracts must agree to these terms which are created. Okay, consideration. Contracts are based on contract law and their interpretation is left up to the courts. Okay, a state or wherever you are, that court may impose more requirements for a valid contract. Okay, now my degree is in international business law, and so I deal with worldwide contracts, and each country has a different level of understanding, but overall, a court understands a contract. Okay, maybe it's not said in a certain way, but at the end of the day, if something happens in your country and you need to go to court, at least you've got something in writing. Okay, please, before you go and do business with anybody at all, please do a contract of some sort. While the contracts I do for client are very bespoke and they are maybe 3 or 4 pages, but it's to safeguard. And there's never been a problem, especially with myself when I've worked with people, when there's a really clear contract in place, it runs really smooth because everybody knows their terms and their role and what needs to be done. Okay, so hopefully that's given you a better understanding is what is legal contracts in business and why do you need them. It's so super important. Look, if you're going to do work with somebody and you don't do a contract, I'm sorry, but it's all going to be on your shoulders. You have to be responsible because, a business is like a child. If you hire a nanny, you're going to want to do all the due diligence on the nanny, and the nanny will have to sign an agreement. Okay, so please do a contract. It's Nancy Stotto. I'm wonderfully here for Talk Tuesday about business. I help people set up businesses and structure. I do all their legals from website, privacy policy, supplier contract, employee contract, freelance contract, you name it, and I got a contract for it because I want to see you safe. Okay, so if you have any questions on legals, please come see me and I'm definitely happy to have that conversation. Okay, so next question. Why are legal contracts safeguard the business important before you start a business? Okay, again, I know a lot of people are really impatient in business and they're just excited to get their logo and they're excited to get a website and they just run into the lion's den. They don't pause, but it's so important to be structured before you move forward so there aren't any problems. Okay, your business is your livelihood. It needs to be protected. Too many business owners expose their businesses to risk and ruin them because they do not have the most essential contracts in place to protect them. Okay, a lot of business owners are overwhelmed by trying to do the work and figure out how to run the company themselves. And a lot of business owners often, add contracts to the never-ending list to do and feel very frustrated how to figure them out. And that's where I step in, okay? You as a business owner, you got things to do. It's very easy with me. If you ask me for contracts, I get them usually done in 7 days. So it's off your plate. You could do other things. Okay, so hire or delegate somebody else. Okay, the main reason that contracts are super important is that they set boundaries and expectations for each and every person that comes in your contract of your business. Okay, I've just hired some interns and the process is this. I sent them a questionnaire. I asked them to fill out the questionnaire to really understand a little bit more about them. Once I felt that they were right, I then send them an NDA so that anything I discuss in my business or will be exchanged between, they are not allowed to explain that to anybody else. And then I send an internship agreement for them to sign. Okay, so important that you're doing just. In the questionnaire, I asked for 3 references. So, I have this new project I'm doing. It is worldwide. So, I got to know the weather in so many different countries because we had so many interns that I had to do 3 reference checks on each of them. South Africa, Sweden, Canada, America, you name it. And there were 3 people I spoke to for each of the candidates because I want to make sure that the person that comes into my tribe is exactly on the same mindset as me. And it's not going to be, oh, well, I didn't know because I did all my research and they signed contracts. Okay. Here are a lot of contracts to think about to get in place. Remember, a lawyer, okay, I just finished a law degree. I am moving forward to being a full-fledged lawyer. That's my goal. But because I've got the education of the law under my degree, I can help you with the contracts. And I'm more affordable than a full-fledged accredited lawyer, okay? So there's a bonus there, okay? Remember that you are the expert at your business. And somebody who does contracts is an expert in the law, okay? Don't try to do it yourself, okay? If you provide a service, it's very crucial that you create contracts that lay out the scope of the service, okay? So things, for example, the names of the contracting parties, you and your client, the client's information, the service you will provide, a list of what's included in the fees, and any specific action that we're taking, and a summary of anything not covered by the fees, okay? And an explanation of what situation could arise if there are additional fees, okay? That's another thing. I think I seen somebody the other day, it was saying on Facebook, oh, well, the work tended to be a little bit more, but I didn't tell them. That's got to be in a contract. That's super important. If the work exceeds 40 hours, there's going to be an additional fee that is going to be involved, okay? By laying out everything very, very clearly, it helps you set you up for success. And all parties will be able to set their expectations correctly, and it opens a wonderful high level of expectation, okay? Now, in today's gig economy, there are a lot of business owners who are looking towards independent contractors to help them support their work. In order for the work to be efficient with these independent contractors, a really clear contract is needed. Okay, these freelancers that are out there, they are key for contracts. Okay, some might disappear, but if you have a really tight contract, they can't disappear because you'll find them. You'll have their address, you'll have their information. Even when I work with clients overseas, I take passport details because I want to make sure that if anything happens, they will be there. I've only had one incident of a client kind of going AWOL, and it was my fault totally because I should have took payment up front. But that stopped after that because I learned from that lesson. But at the end of the day, the contract will help you. A contract should cover items such as the scope of the project, okay? The predicted outcome, the time scales, okay? If you're getting a website done, as a big project, you should have the contract, okay, the website is going to be done in 4 weeks. Every Friday, we're going to meet up and go through what you've done. I want a schedule of what you've done, okay? And this is how I want it. You have to lead them, okay? It's really important that you lead them, okay? Any business owner who does not use contracts when hiring independent contractors is completely set up for a huge potential problem, and that's going to only be your fault. Okay, so for example, I had a client who allowed a marketing director to contract a graphic designer on their behalf. The owner was not overseeing the way the project was handled, and they never put a contract in place. As a result, the owner received a huge bill with no way to verify the suspicious time entries. Okay? If a contract is put in place, specify how they want the contractor to record the time. For example, 60 minutes, increments, a detailed time log. I know with another project I have with guys in India, every Friday they have to send me the whole week's work and how many hours they did on it. And, if they're doing 100 hours and it's not stacking up, I will question that, okay? So instead, This owner that I was dealing with, because I did help the legals, was stuck with a big, massive bill. And there was no substance or any way to be asked for the full accountancy of it. Okay, a full and complete contract allows for both parties to communicate their expectations and requirements very clearly. It makes working with independent contracts much more effective and enjoyable. Okay, so let's talk about employee contracts. Employee contracts, very, very important. I just had a case a while ago about a client who did not put an employee contract together for an employee and just took it on a verbal, and boy, did it get messy. The employee started to hate the employer. They tried to sue them. I really came in as a mediator to help them, and we managed to get out without huge bills. Okay, so when you take on an employee or a freelance, they must have a contract. The contract should lay out the important terms, like how much they're going to pay, what their salary, what their working days are, what are the paid time off, the sick leave, holiday more. Okay, freelancer and employee are very different. They're two different contracts, so I'm just smushing it into this one little live here. But as a part of the contract, you should consider also a confidentiality clause to ensure that you protect any intellectual rights to the business. Okay, again, if you've got all these trade secrets and then you hand it to somebody and they don't have a contract, they can go off and take all your clients and all your ideas and set it up themselves. Okay, be very careful. Again, a business is like a child, so you are going to protect the child till its death, and that's the same with business. A policy manual would be very helpful when you are taking on employee contracts. Okay, employee contracts, a manual should go into detail about the do's and don'ts of the business. For example, your policy manual should include dress code, internet use. Maybe they're not supposed to be on the phone. Other important regulations. It also should have the disciplinary policy in there. Okay, what happens if they do something bad? How are you going to deal with that? Okay, an employee contract protects you and the employee in event that something goes pear-shaped in the business. Okay, so it's all in writing. At the end of the day, if you go to court and it's a verbal, it's very hard because it's your word against the other one. But if you have some writing and they sign the contract, you've got written evidence there. Okay? Supplier contract. This is a really, really big one for all of you out there on social media, and you're deciding, I need a logo designer or a graphic designer or marketing person. Okay, when it comes to a supplier, usually they should provide you with the contract. Okay, if they don't have terms and conditions in place, I would really back away from them. Okay, I would ask them, do you have terms and conditions? And if they don't, I would second think of working with them. Or alternatively, I'm happy to do supplier contracts for you. Please get in touch and I will draft one up that you can use continuously. Okay, so you just need to amend. If you say, I'm going to work with a graphic designer, you amend it to the graphic designer. I'm going to work with a logo designer, you amend it to the logo. So overall, the contracts I do are bespoke, but you can amend it to your specific supplier. Okay? It's important to read the fine print if they do give you a contract, because you want to know these things as early as possible, such as early termination fees, interest rates, and other details. Okay. Now, I know contracts can feel very overwhelming at the time, but they are super essential to protect you and your organization. Any person you hire, you collaborate. That's another thing. Brand ambassadors. I see them all the time. How are they going to work with you? Okay. So any person you hire or retain to make your business better is a smart investment. Your business is the most important asset. So you need to ensure you protect it. Okay. If you need any contracts for your business, please come and see me, and I'm happy to help you with contracts to safeguard your business. Hello, Henry. How are you today? Thanks for popping in. Okay. So it's Nancy Steidel from Talk Tuesday About Business. I'm very delighted to be here with you. And today we're talking about contracts. Okay, such a People sweep it under the carpet, but it's such a very important aspect of your business to make sure that your business is safeguarded. So we're on to the next question, which is one of my favorite, which is, why is a business partnership agreement so important to have in place before you get a business partner on board? Okay, so again, I see a lot of people on Facebook or social media, hey, I've got a really great project. Is anyone interested in collaborating with me, a business partner or investor? Okay, now, when you decide you're going to set up business and you want a co-founder or somebody to work or go on the journey on the same level as you, please do a business partnership agreement together before you start. Because I'll tell you something, two things which change people in business is greed and poverty. And with family, it's even more intense. Okay, so let's say you've got a sister, or you've got mom or dad, and you think, you know what, it'd be so brilliant to start a business with them. Okay, let me tell you an example which might hit a chord with you. It is a very tragic story, but I have to explain it to you. And this reason I'm explaining it to you is to give you the understanding of how important contracts are. So I recently had a client who approached me, which was very similar to a lot of people out there. He started a business with his wife and his brother in business. Okay, and 10 years later, the pressure and the disagreements of how the business was going to function just got the best of them. Well, they had no contract in place, so it got massively messy. One spouse sued the other spouse and took 75% of the business. The brother sued the other brother and the wife and got the remaining 25% of the business. They all fell out and they no longer speak. The wife and the husband divorced, and the impact on the brother was so strong, he committed suicide. So there was 25% gone down the tube. Okay, the remaining spouse, who was left with nothing, was in a homeless shelter and a tent, and he was trying to recover from the debt and the emotional trauma of losing the business that he had put his sweat and glory and heart in for 10 years, and not a dime left to his name. Okay? Look, when starting a business, there's always the honeymoon period. It's always lovely. However, like a marriage sometimes, there could be divorce. And it is much better to prepare prior in the long run. Okay, a business partnership agreement offers a very clear and defined understanding from the onset of what role everyone is going to play, what percentage they get in the business. What a business partnership does as well is outline how much money everybody's going to inject in this business money-wise. Okay, another crucial part is the natural fact that if one of the business partners passes away, who will overlook the whole share? Okay, if another person enters the partnership, how will this be agreed on? Okay, again, if you get an investor to come into the business, how are they going to play a role? If you have a business partnership agreement, then everybody understands what the roles and how that investor will come in. My personal suggestion is, please avoid being naive to the facts when you're in an optimistic and really glorious place. Okay, oh, we're excited. We all want to do this. It's so happy. Okay, simply slow down. Implement a business partnership agreement from day one, okay, to make sure everybody is very clear on the directions and understanding, and this will avoid long-term pitfalls which may occur. Okay, so hopefully you will understand what the business partnership agreement does. And if you need a business partnership agreement, please come see me. I can definitely draft you one up that is suitable for all parties. It's Nancy Stido from Talk Tuesday About Business. I'm really delighted to be here with you. I'm here every Tuesday, 12 noon UK time in the Business Mission's Facebook page. Very passionate about business. Love to see business owners succeed in their business. And with the right structure and the right safeguard, you can have definitely a successful business. Okay, on to our final question today, which are what are some contracts you need in place to safeguard the business? Okay, well, first of all, an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, that should be sent out to anybody that you are speaking about. Business partnership agreement, as I mentioned, just to make sure that if you're going to go to work or work alongside a co-founder, you got that in place. A questionnaire is really handy. I mean, a questionnaire is not a legal document, but a questionnaire gives you the due diligence you need. Supplier contract, employee contract, freelance contract, website terms and conditions. Privacy policy is another one for your website or overall if you got a bricks and mortar, and a shareholders agreement, okay, or investors agreement if you do decide to work with investor. If you need any contracts to safeguard your business, please drop me a message at info@thebusinessmission.com or visit our website www.thebusinessmission.com. Wonderful. Thank you very much. That's it for today. We shall see you next Tuesday for Talk Tuesday about business, 12 noon UK time in the Business Mission's Facebook page. I wish you a very successful and productive week ahead. And please, if you haven't got the contracts in place, come see me. Take care. Until next time. Bye.